Good
a
luck.
week. It's definitely it's tailing off.
Let's raise sails and bang her right so we can get the loot.
Oh, there's rock! Nobody
Drop
was
anchor.
fucking driving.
Drop anchor!
Sea of Thieves is a game that I've been seeing going in and out of the public view ever since its release back in early 2018. At the time, I had been doing a little bit of streaming over on Mixer, rest in peace, and decided to check out the game as I had recently signed up for Xbox Game Pass and thought my viewers would enjoy watching some swashbuckling pirate adventures. What I found at the time was not a terrible, but flawed experience. For those that are unaware, Sea of Thieves is a game that is developed by Rare Studios and published by Xbox Game Studios that primarily revolves around doing pirate stuff. You get your own ship to sail the seas, you hunt for treasure, you get into fights with other players, and you might even encounter some creatures that try to rip you to shreds. The game's core loop is primarily facilitated by a series of outposts that act as quest hubs for your team. Here you can take quests from the various guilds and turn in the spoils from said quests for currency, exchange said currency for cosmetic items, or just get drunk. Players have a choice of ship size between the small but maneuverable sloop, the mid-size and good all-around brigantine, and the large and powerful galleon. While the game sounded fun to me, what I found upon loading in at the time was that the game lacked any clear direction for the player. There were things to do, but no sense of when to do them or why you should do them. Sure, accepting and turning in quests did make the reputation bar with the associated guild go up, but that was about it, other than having a few more cosmetics available. Given that, and the fact that I didn't have too many friends playing the game, I soon dropped it and moved on. Cut to 2 years later, and like Deep Rock Galactic before it, a bunch of my friends bought Sea of Thieves on Steam, so I decided to reinstall the game on PC. One thing that I really love about a lot of these Xbox Game Pass games is that even though I'm downloading and installing the games through the Xbox Beta app on PC, they still support crossplay with the Steam version. Granted, this isn't the case 100% of the time, but having this feature with both Halo the Master Chief Collection and Sea of Thieves is a good start, and that's just my own experience. From my first session with my friends, I immediately noticed that there was more to do in this game. Upon loading in, I jumped into the ship and noticed a rather mean-looking giant ghost face staring at me as we plundered the island for supplies. One quest taken later, and I found myself in the midst of a desperate struggle for survival as we sailed towards said mean-looking ghost head, and several ghost ships began firing volley after volley of other ghosts at our ship. After getting over the initial shock of the sheer amount of fire that we were taking from the enemy ghost ships, we quickly devised a strategy to both A, keep the ship from sinking, and B, fight back against the ghost ships. This led to me running back and forth between firing volleys at nearby ships and running all the way to the bottom of the galleon to repair the holes and bail the water out. We made it through and collected our spoils, which for this event are a bunch of skulls that can be turned into the Order of Souls, one of the quest-giving guilds. This was a great reintroduction to the game as, whereas my previous experience with Sea of Thieves had a lot of downtime associated with it, this got right to the ship-to-ship action with little delay. It also provides a lot of practice with the cannons, which can take some time to get used to, especially when the seas are rough and you're moving fast. That direct line to action continued when one of my friends and I decided to jump into the game's arena mode. This is a mode that is designed for constant battles with other players, another thing that seldom happened at the original release, at least in my experience. You get a choice of either a 2-man sloop or 4-man galleon combat. Matches last 15 minutes and players are tasked with finding a chest and selling it to a nearby outpost trader for points. The only problem is that there are other teams that also want to find and sell that exact same chest. Add in a circle around the map that players cannot leave, Battle Royale style, and you have a situation where you are pretty much constantly fighting with the other teams. For the most part, my friend and I didn't really try to go for the chest as we had our hands full just dealing with the other players. You do get points for killing enemy players and sinking their ships, so you can stay competitive even without going for the chest. Teams are also given unique ships that are based on your team name, like the Azure Scout, the Flaming Jackal, the Golden Chaser, but no Blue Barracudas or Silver Snakes, sadly. This is a great new game mode that evokes the tension of Team Deathmatch, Capture the Flag, and Battle Royale game modes to create something unique to Sea of Thieves. Combat wasn't the only thing given attention to by Rare, however, as they added more content into the more exploratory side of the game as well. When Sea of Thieves hit the 1-year anniversary and Rare released the anniversary update, one of the big new adds was the Tall Tales. I had heard of these a few times from Sea of Thieves streamers, but had kind of forgotten about them until one of my friends suggested it. Tall Tales can't be launched from the voyage table that is normally used on your ship, but instead have to be launched at a table near a specific NPC that, in our case, was hanging out at the bar. So we launched a Tall Tale called the Shroud Breaker adventure and were given our first clue. Instead of just getting a scroll though, we were given a book with multiple pages to try and discern where we were supposed to go first. So my friends and I put our heads together and figured out our way through the quest. At one point we even had to do a little puzzle solving on one of the islands that we stopped at, which led us to this cool room that was clearly designed for this quest. This was a lot of fun, but be cautious when accepting tall tales because they can take quite a while. Looking at my footage, from accepting the tall tale to finishing the tall tale, it took us 1 hour. Granted, it's no first attempt at a Destiny raid in terms of length, but an hour for a single quest is a long time. All of the additions that I have mentioned so far are welcome for sure, but this next one is the single smartest thing that Rare could have possibly done. This one change has totally changed this game and made it a potential juggernaut for Xbox moving forward. I, of course, speak of the addition of pets. I have a blue parrot and I named him Senpai, and he's the goodest of good birds. In all honesty though, I do like this small addition to the game as they add a bit to the general atmosphere of the game. You can choose between a bird, a monkey, or a cat, and they do things like dance when you're playing music, and they screech whenever you fire a gun or a cannon, or whenever your ship takes damage from something. I do have a gripe with this though, which is that they are only accessible via real money purchases. Granted, pets are not essential to the experience of the game, but I don't know, I would have preferred a model where they gave you one of the pets for in-game currency, but the pet cosmetics and other pets would need to be purchased with real money, something like that. Good microtransaction practices tend to do something similar to that, as opposed to just locking the player out of the experience altogether. As a small aside, I wanted to take some time to mention something that was always present in the game, but is worthy of mention. I love the music playing mechanic in this game. For those that are unaware, at pretty much any time in the game, you can whip out a banjo, accordion, drum, or even a hurdy-gurdy and start jamming with your friends to various tunes provided by the game. Your instruments sync up in-game, so one person can start the song and others can take out their instrument and join in at any point. While not essential to the gameplay at all, it really serves to foster a real sense of teamwork and just adds to the overall pirate experience. Further serving to immerse the player is the absolutely stunning stylized environments. While I don't think the actual look of the pirates and other characters are super captivating, the environments are just gorgeous, with special praise to the sea. With a game that is primarily based on sailing the open seas, you would expect that a great deal of attention would be paid to the water itself, but Rare has really outdone themselves with Sea of Thieves. This game has some of the best looking water that I've ever seen, and when complemented with a nice sunset, can create some absolutely breathtaking imagery. The islands that you land on look great as well. Trees, grass, and shrubbery, while not looking realistic by any means, blend very well with this game's general aesthetic and look very pleasing to the eye on a bright sunny day. Despite how much this game has improved since its original release, there are still some issues. One of the major complaints about this game at launch was that there wasn't any real sense of progression. You can't get more bullets for your gun, or upgrade the attack power of your sword. You can only really raise your reputation with the various guilds and unlock new cosmetics to buy. That core gameplay loop has not changed. Granted, this is done for good reason. Adding weapon or player upgrades, like I mentioned before, would create an unfair advantage for veteran players. Sea of Thieves is a game where you can be attacked at any point by other players, so being a new player and getting trolled by veteran players who have a distinct advantage over you would likely lead to a lot of people walking away from the game. However, this is still an issue with the game, and if you are going into it looking for a tangible sense of progression like a Destiny or a Warframe, that's not really what this game is about. Another issue would be the viability of playing solo. To be clear, you can play Sea of Thieves as a solo player and still have some success at it, but it's not the same experience really. Sailing on your ship alone can be a bit of a boring affair, even with a pet there to keep you company now. Ship combat can be a challenge as you have to leave the wheel to man a cannon and also be ready to make repairs should you take damage. It can be difficult to balance, and with some quests clearly designed for more than one person, there is this general sense that the game would prefer that you squad up. Speaking about it 2 years after its initial release, I can confidently say that Sea of Thieves is a good time if you have a few friends to go into it with. Rare has really done a great job at creating a great base game and adding a bunch of new content which will keep you busy for quite some time. It has its fair share of issues like any other game out there, but if you're looking to get into some fun pirate hijinks with a few friends, Sea of Thieves is a great time. Sea of Thieves is currently available on Xbox One, Windows 10, and Steam, and is included with Xbox Game Pass. But that's enough from me. What do you think of Sea of Thieves? Have you tried it, or are you going to try it now that Rare has added a lot more content? Please leave a comment down below. Also, if you like this video, then I would appreciate a like, and for more things Xbox, please subscribe. Thanks for watching, and happy gaming. Later.